Welcome to episode 32 of Solar Factory. Um, what you're looking at there is a couple of hours of work of me trying to put together what I think will be the central storage tower. It took a bit of fiddling around to get this to work, but I'm happy with how it looks, at least on paper, or in the game so far. I haven't actually built the logistics stuff yet, so we'll see how it goes. We'll get into this a bit more. Let's dive into it. So let's have a look. The idea behind this is relatively straightforward. So we've got 4 production areas, north, south, east and west. We're going to have a truck stop, one single truck stop in each area. That will bring in the overflow materials from that area via the single path that it's got in here. That will come into, essentially, there'll be 4 of these, so one in each corner here. So one tractor will go to one, and one to the next one, etc. That will bring up the materials up into a logistics level, and from there they'll get spread out to 4 levels of logistics. Now, each level can actually contain 48 containers. There are basically, they're sort of L-shaped. They are 6 by 6, so there's 12 in each corner, doubled up, so that's double the storage for each one. 1 item per storage container, or per stack. So you end up with 48 per level. I'm planning to build 4 levels. So 1, 2, 3 and 4. 48 per level means we end up with, I believe that is 192 containers. That should be more than enough. On the very top level, so we've got 1, 2, 3, 4. Last level there. On the 5th level, I actually can't go any higher because I don't have enough power. I'm going to just use the flying rod. Is going to be the building blueprint designer, plus probably potentially the hub, and also some craft benches, and probably some awesome sinks. Not too sure just yet. On top of that, we're going to have the space elevator on the very, very top. So that is the whole design idea. Now, how did I get here? So I started looking at, you might have noticed I had the sort of straight edge here. What ended up being a real pain was getting the window to go across like that. To show you what I had to do, if you try and use, so I first started using the structural solutions mod. That's what SS stands for, structural solutions, and use their corner pick, which is just that. So look, great, that's going to be perfect. Make a straight edge all the way through, and we're laughing. 2 issues. 1, I could not figure out a way to apply a material to those. So we wanted our coated fat thing. You can't select it. So it looks like that coated, the X materials that you can apply only applies to in-game assets. So I couldn't do that. The other thing that also caused an issue was if I go and grab my single pane wall full frame window, I could not get it to snap to the front edge. It just thinks it's a normal foundation, and I can't snap to the bit that's facing us. So, how do we get around that? Well, one option, and this is the way I ended up doing it, is you get a foundation, regular foundation, you rotate it so it's like this, and then using the nudge tool, so pressing H goes into lock hologram, otherwise known as nudge. So from here it's now locked. I can move around it and it stays in position. What I can do though is I can actually press the cursor keys in and see I can move it round. Once I've got it to there, you can then lock it in place, and you've now got the foundation where you're after it. What you then do once you've done that, you lock it in place, you turn to the zoop mode, and you zoop it all the way across, except I've run out of concrete. Give me 2 minutes, I shall jump over here and get some. And once you've done that, you've now got what is effectively the straight edge of the foundation that you can then put that to show what I'll do with that. Now that weird flickering thing is the clipping happening with the foundations, but we're going to delete them. First thing we're going to do though is we're going to put the wall, the window down. So now we've got that, we can go right across there. And then we delete these foundations. Including that one. And now we've got the windows. Back to that. Ah. Done it again. That fixed our first issue. That then revealed two more. One, you can now see we've got this weird window frame here, looks a bit odd. I hid that by going into the architecture, which is part of the game. So I'm trying to avoid the mods as much as the structural mods if I can for this stuff because of that issue of not being able to use the material stuff on it. Again, if I lock it in place with a nudge, I can then build a little sort of wall piece, and you see that's actually going right into the wall. You can see if I do that, that's going in there. Likewise at the other end, just go into that puzzler piece, nudge and do that, and now you can build that. So you can now see we've got a couple of sort of framing for the for each end, which I think looks really neat. Now, next bit we had to deal with. Now, don't worry about the power that's going to be removed at some point. Now, in here we're going to have the coded this, so we're going to have this in here. This is now the look in here. So we've got that done. So that's our reflective. You can see this is what we're aiming for over here. This look. So we've got that. Then to build the actual edge piece in, I can't use the modded pieces because I can't apply the material coating to it. What I ended up doing was using the under foundations. We've got a whole bunch of options in here, and one of them is this up corner form. Actually, I want inverted, I believe. Inverted that. So if I come into here and plonk that down, we end up with this underneath, which is not a big issue. We end up with a pattern like that. Once you've done that, you then can actually continue doing that same sort of arrangement, and you end up with this look. So this is all the range of inverted up corners and inverted down corners, all rotated in various directions, to give us this sort of sloped in look. And then once you get down to here, you end up with a couple of actual, just a standard foundation. We can then put our big pillar and our frames and actually build a pillar here. So what we're going to do that over here now. It's fairly fiddly to do it. First thing we'll do is we'll put in the inverted up corner in each of these. So do that, there, 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 and there. And then we use the other version, which is the, where's it gone? That one. Rotated round. Wait a second. I'm not so sure how I did this now. Let me just check what I did. Inverted down corner. What we need, inverted down corner. One of those. So by doing that between each one of these, okay, how did I do this? I think I might have actually removed that and done the first one. just got to get it to snap into the right spot, is the tricky bit. Let me double check what I've done here. As I said, it was a bit of a lot of fiddling and I wasn't really paying. And how is that? Yeah, so it's inverted down corner, 4 meters. Inverted down corner, 4 meters. Okay. Inverted down. Inverted. Okay. End up with that. Get rid of that on each one because you need the initial one to have it. So inverted. Which is fine because we can replace it with our material, so that's cool. Once you've got this first one done though, you don't actually need to worry about it too much. Most of it's not going to be... It's not a solid thing, in other words. And do that one. And now you've got that look. And maybe we can apply our coating to all of those. So to look at that. Coated. And there we go. So that's now matching that. So now we keep doing the rest of it. Just alternate between them. So every time we got one of those, we do an up to the one. Again, you've got to get the snap right, which is the tricky thing. There. Again, just getting it to snap is the tricky bit. I'm not getting that to work at all. So let me just put that in there and that there. So do that, and then we can hopefully get this a snap. There we go. 3, back to this one. 2, back to that one. 3. And you can see how we just keep going with that. And then repeat here, if I can get it to snap. Oh, oh. There we go. No, we'll do this one next, at least we can snap to... And we repeat this. And because it's going to sort of line up, it will actually eventually it will come into our last level here. And it's a little bit different when we get to that because we want it to make it still slope in a bit to that last piece. That's also straightforward as well. And last one of those in. So this one here will be a standard one. But you see how it's got slope to that. So what we do is we go and grab, I believe it was one of those that I used in the last spot. Again, trying to get it to snap where I want it to. No, that's not the right size at all. I want 1 meter. How did I do the last bit? Okay. And now it slopes in and does that. Yeah, it's a bit of a problem having a big rock here, but anyway, is what it is. We can now go into our architecture, scroll right to the bottom, big pillar support, plonk that there. Back in the same spot, big frame. Hopefully once it's there. Yeah, anyway. Bit odd in where it's put it, but because I can't get rid of that rock, so that's how it looks. So it's got a coated edge of the front there, which is I think okay. Just because it's coated on the top there. Now, what I normally would have down the side of each of these platforms, I've only done 2 quarters or 2 quarters or 2 corners or whatever, is these frames like this. But it's going to be like that all the way around. So I'm now thinking that it might actually be better to have the steel walls come right all the way across here. So if we take that, this is concrete to begin with, I'll change them in a moment. So we zip that across, just to show you how this will look. And then you can actually, so if we apply material to that, we can turn it on to steel walls. Like so. And then we can actually build half walls that are that shape. And again, we can apply it to be steel wall. Now that's how it now would look. And I kind of think that's the way to go. It looks kind of neat, pretty. I think it looks good. So rather than having the steel frame around all this stuff, these more 4 in the middle, these cross ones, I'm going to continue that steel ball look all the way across them. Alright, now, so that's what's going to be designed there of those two. So you'll have 3 windows and a pillar, 3 windows and a pillar, so you now actually have a wall up, a wall, up to there, and likewise a wall up to there. Now, again, because we want to keep it the same coated finish from up here, we've got a similar problem in that we've got to use the inverted pieces so we can do that corner and still have it allow us to use the material application. So we do that by using a logistics level, and that essentially hides it. You're going to have the slope going into that, around that through there. So you can see they're all 1 meter inverted, down corners, up corners. You end up with this look on the front as well, which I think looks kind of neat. And that allows us to maintain a logistics level, which is what we're after, but also allows us to use the same look on the top as well in terms of that inverted look. So to finish that off, just have a look at that. We'll just go regular, zip it out to there as far as we can. To there. So we get a lot more concrete. Right, now I'll explain what that is in a moment. This new design of using the tractors and the 4 truck stations has left me with a little bit of a dilemma. Not, I'm probably overstating it, but I have to resolve a production supply issue. So we'll show that. I'll talk about that in a moment. So we'll build that through to there. Likewise with that one. Likewise with that. Just gone too far with that one. Right. So now we go and grab the same thing as before. And that allows us to build out remember this has also got a wall across the front like that. So actually we don't need that one, that one. That was inverted up, so we want the inverted down. Let's get rid of that so we can see what we're doing. We put the wall across the front. And you end up with that look. Wall back in there. Wall back in there, and there's your completed. Again, you'll have a wall across that. So you can see it's now hiding that stuff as well, and also means that the top of this ceiling is the standard concrete finish. So my next, now as I said, this thing over here. So when I have the 4 truck routes built into here, I won't really want to have the truck route that brings in the iron plates from there and the concrete from there to go into the singularity cell production tower. So what that means is I need to basically redo this bottom level, and that's what this is doing. So on here we've just built a sort of mock-up 6x6 of our regular production floor, and what we can see though is that we need to have I believe it's 200 concrete a minute. Yeah, so 200 concrete a minute and 100 iron plate a minute. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 constructors doing concrete. Where is the actual? At 25 per minute each. So in other words, 8 by 25 gives us 200. And the iron plate constructors only require 2 of those, because they can do, when they're ramped up to 250%, they can do 50 each. And that's what these N2 are. So that's going to be iron plate at 250%, therefore running 50 each. And then we've got 100 out of those 2. And then we've got our converter, which is required to make the, excited phototic matter, whatever that stuff is. Let me just check. Pretty sure that's what it's called. The dark matter residue, sorry. So, what are we going to do? We're going to get underneath the that then led to a thought about what I was going to do here. So we've now got the 4 keeping the logistics levels in place. You've now got 1 coming out of here, 1 coming out of here, 1 coming out of there. So you keep that going for the rest of what it does. Obviously that's going to line up with this, and that's a bit of an issue because you've now got it running into the bottom level of this battery bank that I have. 5 levels of 400 batteries in each. So I'm going to demolish the bottom level. That's all going to go, because what we're going to do is right over there are 2 iron ore nodes, and right over here is a limestone node. So we're going to have those coming out of that. I'm assuming it's enough. That's a normal, which I think can run at 600. So that should be enough. And we'll keep the logistics pathways we've been building, keep those in place, and then bring everything above ground, or basically this will now go onto the first level of the 4 levels of logistics. Get rid of that 1 level, and then we'll build another one on top, which I always had plans to. Hence why you've got that in the corner there. That's the next big long plan, is to do that. Because once we've done that, we can then put into that bottom level iron plate and concrete production, which means we can get rid of the tractors bringing those in. And that production tower that's just there, through that gap there, that'll just be concrete that will go into central storage. Because you use a lot of concrete in this game. So that is a bit of an update on where things are at. That's going to take a long time to do all of that, so I suspect I may even cut to the end of all that at the end of this episode, or that might actually do that. End of this episode, I will have redone that bottom level, with that arrangement. I will have removed that bottom level of that battery tower. I may not have built the one on top, but it'll remove that entry. That'll allow us to bring the conveyor beltways into that area, and then split it to the left to go across to there to pick up the iron ore and limestone, and then sort of basically where that corner is to the left again to allow us to bring in the sulfur and the raw quartz and coal. Again, that'll all join that new platform I'm talking about. So we've got sulfur coming in from there, quartz in there, coal from there coming into there, and that'll be on that new 4-level platform that I'm talking about for big beltway. And then should then be able to get rid of the 2 tractors, and then that'll allow us to start planning and building the rest of the central storage tower. So that's going to take several hours, I suspect, if not longer, to get rid of all that and do all that. So it'll be seconds for you, but hours for me. See you in a bit. Alright, just finishing up the cleanup. Try again. There we go. Alright, so there is our limestone, which I must admit I need to put a door on there somewhere, but I'll do that later. Is in there, and our iron ore is in there. I'll scoot into here. You can see we have the old iron ore path I had at one point, but we do have iron ore coming out of there. Right hand turn. We've got limestone coming out of there. Oh, I need to put need to fix that. Do now have another mod which allows me to put these basically anywhere. They come down here, come along here. This used to be the lowest level of that battery storage area. Now they come into here, do a right hand turn in here. Come along, do some zigzagging up here. I need to avoid that big rock here basically. And then they go up there. Now they go up through the multiple levels, and then they eventually get into here. Now this was ended up being a little bit messy. So yeah, we've got our 8 constructors in the front here, all doing the concrete, all going up into there. We've got 2 here doing the iron plate production from 2 smelters here. But when you get up into, and I'll just get rid of this, when you get up into here, this is really kind of messy. It took a lot of time to get this to actually work. So you've got the 8 excuse me. You've got the 8 you've got the 8 limestone with concrete coming in from that one and that one. That's where the coal comes in for the diamonds, which goes up for the diamond production, which is up above. So it ended up taking an extra merger in there. Normally that would just be 8 all in a row, 8 in a pattern. And then you've got, that is the other output from the iron ore. I'm not sure that belongs to anything. I'm not sure what that is now. That can go. So that is now coming into here and merging and going up, which is going up there. The concrete goes up behind it, not how it normally would have it. Normally you'd have that side by side, and also normally have it closer to the window, but it just isn't going to work with what I've got space wise. So yeah, that's what we've had to do. So that goes up to there. This is the diamonds, that's all working well. And in here we've got the dark matter crystal. I managed to then, under this little area, sort of split them a bit, so they come up, the concrete just keeps going up, but the iron plates go through this little sort of turn thing, so they are now separate in here. Not specifically needed, but they then both go up, and then on the next level, a little bit different in here too. We don't have the two structures in front of it now, two containers in front, because they are now producing dead on the amount they need. So all looking good in here. It is running 100%, although I'm just curious about how if it's going to get to 100 and 200. Alright, so the iron plate's probably going to go close. Alright, iron plate gets to 200, which is the maximum it can store. And looks like the concrete will get to 500 as well. So that's good. Alright, so they're just getting into the end of that 98%. Yep, cool. So underneath, again a little bit messy, but you've got, so the concrete comes up here, that's the iron plate, it's both going into a smart splitter, and overflow is going in back around and into that merger there. The concrete is also merging into the same one. We then have the dark matter crystal comes up and goes into its own smart splitter. Overflow comes around the outside here and joins that merger. So everything goes into there. So overflow from concrete, overflow from iron plate, overflow from dark matter crystal, all goes into there. Because that then goes up to, this thing comes up here. You see that's the overflow that's coming up there. That's the singularity cells going back down. But if we go up to into the here, it joins this little bit of a mess. So out of the machine comes the singularity cells. They go into this merger, which is merging the stuff from the overflow from down below. It goes straight through. That's only allows singular. That's actually a programmable splitter, which is a bit different. So that allows the singularity cells to go through only. Dark matter crystals go left, and overflow goes left. In fact, I should actually be changing that. So there's all the singularity cells going through. Oh, wait a second. I need to get back to that. That should add iron plate, concrete. Whoop. Concrete and overflow. actually, yeah, it's actually not splitting it. I'll just do that as overflow because that only says singularity cells go through and overflow goes left. And what that's basically doing is, if we head up to the top now, ooh, it's a weird thing with this game loses track of where my hands up. We've got this, which is taking the everything from the overflow into here. Singularity cells go straight through. Dark matter crystals go to the left. Overflow, any overflow goes to the right and gets sunk. So now we've got 8 doing dark crystal singularity cells and 8 doing dark matter crystals. That's nothing is now wasted on that setup, which is good. Let me just go put. So that's the setup. So it seems to be working pretty well. If we go back to no, not to there. These machines are very loud. Coming to here. This is running dead on the 100%, spitting out our 10 a minute. So it's yeah, it's working well. So, I've also been underneath and removed any, except this one, just found. Gone underneath and I've redone all the platforming through here. All the platforms, all the logistics levels are now built in here. We did a bit of a redone, so I've now got, I also have to repath basically everything. So quartz crystals, if we go and just get rid of these walls so you can see what I've done in here. So sulfur is now coming in from here. And we've got coal, iron ore and limestone coming in here, and they all do a right hand hook turn in here and go along there. And then up on the very top here we have quartz crystal. So this was coming in and on the lower level before and then going up to where it needed to go, but so I've repathed that. So they all start now, so if we come back over here, so they were all sort of underneath here, now they're all coming in on here. There's the quartz crystal, there's the sulfur, there's the coal, so coming through here. So now we've got a little bit more of a structured setup in here. So we've got the coal coming from down there, coming in there and doing that. Sulfur coming through there, so that's now actually been built up as an actual proper contained structure like we normally have. So that's in there. And we rejigged this a little bit as well. It was down further. It was down a couple bigger blocks down below. And they're all now neatened up. So that's that bit done. Next thing I need to do with this area is just get the power properly run, because it's still running through on the power poles. Whereas I've actually got the power on the outside here. So the next part will be to bring it on the actual inside like I've done here. Continue that down the middle and get rid of the ones on the side. But that's for another day. And that is basically wrapping up that redesign. So I think the next thing is I'm going to, so just to quickly look at, we've got our top right hand corner we've got our phase 5 requirements. So we were building the biochemistry sculpture, if you may recall, we were building the biochemistry sculpture in here by using water from just over there, the assembly directory systems from the other part of the factory, and fix a trigon from sort of, I don't know, a bit over there. You see there the stuff coming in there. This is going really well because we've now gone past the 1,000 that we need for that phase. We come into here, we've actually got nearly 1,700. And that's actually going to... So that's going to stop at 2,400. So what have we got there? Just under 1,700, as I said. So yeah, that's all working well. So I think the next stage is I've got a couple of things I want to look at doing. One, I want to get this setup working. This is building SAM fluctuator, which is needed for a couple of different pieces. So we look up SAM fluctuator in here. It does get used in something, but I'm not really sure what. But it's using the satellite. Yeah. So if I want to make the satellite portal things, I've got to use it. And I don't have a lot of it left. Only 200. So what does it need? It needs wire. It needs steel pipes. And it needs this reanimated sand. Reanimated sand, we've got a bucket load of it. It's a bucket load of it sitting over here. So the reanimated sand is used in these things, which is the... I can't remember what they are now. So that's all reanimated sand through there, absolute bucket loads of it. It's used to make... the fixed ingots, there you go. So using 40 minute there and 40 minute over here. So 80 minute combined between the two converters there. Whereas if we come across here, it's just a simple constructor from the raw sand ore from over there. Comes into here and is going through 5 of these. So I'm making 150 a minute, 5 times 30, and using 80 minutes. So we've got 70 minutes spare. So using that, the copper pipes, the steel pipes, and the wire, we can make that reanimated sand fluctuator. And as you can see, we need 150 minutes, so I'm going to have to make more of that. So that's the next little step. So I want to build that somewhere, probably at the back here. So not in this bit, but probably in this area here. So build out another 6x6 probably in this area, and another one in there, and one of those will be the truck station for this part of the factory. And that's where all of the excess will go to. So yeah, that's plan for that bit. And then one of them will be, the other one will be to make that sand fluctuator. But that's it for now. That's the end of episode 32. Once we've done those two, we're then going to go back to that middle tower. So the part of that will be building the 4 truck stops and then building in. So here we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 and 7 at the back materials. There we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 12 I think? How many towers have we got there? So we've got 9... we've got 13 towers in that area. That one's got 1, so it's 4 at the front, makes 8. That's got 11. And then here we've got a heap, so we've got 4. So we've got, how many have we got there? We've got 10, 18 I think? Or no? 5 in the middle there, another 5 there. 4 at the front makes 14. Oh, must be 17. Yeah, 17. Now that's probably the space for the truck stop will be there, I think. I've turned that into just a storage thing of concrete now. So yeah, so we've got that. So yeah, that's probably what we'll do. So we've got quite a few there. Anyway, so that's the next thing. So it may just be that I only need the first floor for everything in that's built here. There are other things built elsewhere that come in by drone. So for example, we've actually got steel pipes coming in to the stator production tower there. Now it would be good to have overflow of that coming back into the central storage hub. We've got heavy modular frames coming in over there and alclad sheeting. Again, it would be good to have that as an overflow into here as well. So we've got them, got things droned in that they get used in other production lines, but I'd like to have everything coming to that central storage point. So yeah, so we've got a bit of planning to do, but that is the next little thing to build that up. And once we've done that, we'll start looking at the production, the storage tower, central storage hub tower. That's it for episode 32. Thanks for watching. I've got time off from work, so then the episode 33 might be relatively short in terms of when it's coming. Because yeah, I've got a bit of a chance to actually get through these. Apparently there is meant to be a Christmas gift that falls from the sky that's actually a Nobelisk like explosive, and I've not seen it yet. So I'm curious as to if it's random and really random or what. But anyway, put that aside. Yeah, until now, thanks for watching. Goodbye.